Today we're going to talk about Enoch's ascension. However, for there to be an ascension, something simultaneously is taking place, and there's a descension that's taking place. A descension of energies to descend or come upon a vessel. And that's very important. But before those energies could descend upon a vessel must be prepared in order to handle those energies. Listen at this. If the vessel is not prepared, there's no reason for the higher frequency vibration to descend upon that vessel because it's not prepared. It cannot handle it. So when you deal with the Breatharian process, the transformation, the practitioner is preparing their vessel for a descension of the higher energies. And then, and only then, it can ascend into another state of consciousness. Listen at this now, because the two must merge together, the creative forces and the creature. But like I said one time, it's the creature who must figure out to make the changes. The higher forces don't have to. So when the creature goes through its correction phase, where it realizes this isn't about a belief, it has to make some legitimate changes to transform itself through a lifestyle so it could get stronger to be able to handle the descension of these energies. Now, when you look at Enoch in the scriptures, there's only one small scripture that's telling the life of Enoch. That's what people think. But in esoteric circles, the whole story of Enoch is there. The whole story of Enoch is there. Now, they do got some books called First to Second to Third Enoch. And what that is saying through esoteric knowledge, how he was going through his transformation, inhale, going into heaven, inhale. That was just dealing with states of consciousness he was going through. States of consciousness, what all of us have to go through. Hell just means a lower state of consciousness. How do you know what that is? It brings forth sickness, pain, suffering, and death. This is what it brings forth. It brings forth depression, anxiety. It's not in a force of joy, happiness, good health. Not at all. It's only a high state of consciousness that do that. That's what we call it heaven. It isn't far-fetched, far from us. All of us is dealing with it, and it's right here in the mind. That's why in the Hermetic text, or the text of Thoth, he said, listen at this. Man is transforming itself to become a god. Because the body is the temple of God, and everything is mental. So the battlefield starts out in the mind, and the victory must take place in the mind. Listen at this now. So the story of Enoch, first of all, Enoch means discipline or obedience. So that's why on this path, it isn't no destination of a 10-day process, a 21-day process. That's what people had in their minds at first. No, I don't have nothing to do like that. You need some type of mind that could keep working with itself daily and have it incorporated in his lifestyle till it becomes your identity. And there is no right or wrong. There is no failure. You're just working with energy all the time. See, as humans, to try to fault each other for failures or you lost and stuff like that. But when you deal with life itself, as long as your feet is on the ground, you still have a chance. So the story of Enoch says that Enoch walked with God for 365 years. And then one day God took him. Now listen at that. He walked with God. What does that mean? That shows his obedience. It was a lifestyle. That's how you walk with God. When you grab that high state of consciousness, you stick with it. So that's when I give the foundation, fasting, diet, exercise, meditation, and a good thought process. You must keep that always, so you can keep getting stronger and stronger to get rid of that old mind of doubt, unbelief, doing any old habits, stuck in them, can't get out of them, can't lay nothing down. You can. The light could do anything once you start coming into the light. That's why meditation is the foundation, because it is a tool that's designed to transform your mind. And all you have to do is learn how to surrender. What do I do? What do I do? Surrender to these higher forces. See, the body loves to work with energy. It loves it. That's all it does. Your mind loves to work with energy. It loves to grow. So the surrendering part is what it's all about. And a lot of people just don't want to surrender. And meditation is very hard. Please don't tell me you meditate every day. On my travels around the world, as I teach people, I work with thousands. And I fail to see at all do a person know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you probably meditated for 20 years in and out to just put that date on it. That's all you did. But to sit there and go through that monkey mind, because within 10 minutes, you don't want to sit there for 10 minutes. You'll get bored. You'll go somewhere else. You'll do this, and you're in and out. You got to stay there. Feel those aches and pains of the body. Let the light come through and shake everything to get everything, things to start coming up. A lot of people don't like to sit with themselves. But you're allowing the body to realign itself with the higher forces. This is how you prepare it. Oh, man. Now let's go deeper with it. So I just said that the whole story of Enoch is in the scriptures, because keep in mind that Enoch in his lineage is from the 7th generation of Adam. Think of that word 7. 7 major chakras. He's from 7 generations from Adam. And he's the father of Methuselah. Those who's in the scriptures, those he was in the priesthood. Well, of course, he comes from Enoch. So there was a lineage who understood how to ascend and how to get the descension of the energies coming in. This is the lineage. It's the Adamic lineage. They knew how to do it. But so you got to understand, as time went on, they forgot the knowledge. See, there is a people who forgot the knowledge. They come from more of the direct lineage of Adam. They forgot how to do it. So that's why when the colonial powers took over the world, the knowledge was gone, or they wouldn't have been able to do it. God consciousness was already gone. We're going to see why it was gone. Because one kingdom had to fall for the other one to take its place. Another one just can't take its place if the other one is still strong. So God was totally off the scene, the high state of consciousness, before the other powers got there. But now, since this dispensation of time ran its course, this is why they're saying this system is over right now. Now this is fallen so that the other consciousness could come back, the God consciousness. We're going to let you see what this is. It's a higher vibrational force. Now follow this now. So you got Enoch, the 7 generations from Adam. And Adam is very important, because when we bring up that name, everybody just keep looking at his fall. But look at him when he was in his glory. He was the only one that had full conversation with the God of creation. He had the God consciousness. When his consciousness dropped, it brought death into the earth. Follow this now, because even death is not supposed to happen. This is how you monitor yourself on a breatharian journey. You just don't get those sicknesses like people like that. See, it will give you a strong immune system. Why is that? Because 90% of your immune system is in your gut. That's where your immune system is at. So even when we deal with this pandemic, what's happening? Get a stronger gut. That's where most of your diseases take place at. 90% of them in the gut. That's your immune system. So the breatharian journey is not half-stepping. We understand this in the gut. That's why a breatharian is one who eat very little or none at all. What do very little mean? It could be once a month. But I ain't no breatharian. Yeah, it is. That already broke records. You can't do it. Once a week. Well, that ain't nothing. Yeah, it is. You can't do it. Stop downplaying stuff. Come on now. We got to pick up the pace and start thinking. These are big things. Like one man tried to tell me, well, I drink a smoothie every other day. So how do I let go and become free? I said, a smoothie every other day? That's amazing. Stay there for a while. But he ain't want to do that. He act like that's nothing. I said, that's big. You could do a whole blog on that, showing people how to drink a smoothie every other day. See, people got other intentions in their mind on what they think it should be. These are powerful energies when you can even do that. Even eating one meal a day is powerful. And there was a time the medical profession wouldn't even told you to do that, because that would have been called criminal negligence. That was just recently. Oh man, but you see how the collective consciousness is moving into that? But anyway, going back to Enoch again, the seventh generation from Adam. But now we got to look at it like this. The Bible is an esoteric book on 7 different levels. The average person is just at the first level, or they're taking it, they're just playing around with some words. But the whole Bible is actually showing you, and also the other scriptures, how to ascend. See, when you look at the Genesis, the 7 days of creation, listen at that 7 again. Those are the 7 chakras. It's showing you how you must ascend each one. You're starting from the lower one, based on survival. The second one, based on sex. Then it's going on up, boom, 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 till you open up the heart, the 4th. Once you start opening up the heart, you're rolling. That's a whole nother influx of energies coming into the body. But it's your responsibility to maintain your electromagnetic field. And it goes all the way to the 7th chakra. So listen how they wrote it. And on the 7th day, God rested from all his works. He rested. God rested. See, you're God. God was able to rest because that means you came into peace. That means that you don't have stress on your body no more when you open up the 7th chakra. When you open up the 7th chakra, that allows the higher frequencies to descend on the body, so God was able to rest. God, I'm going to read something to you that's going to be real deep, that's going to make this make sense. The life you live in now is artificial. It's not even necessary when you open up your other consciousness. The life people are living now is based because of your hunger. You're living a life now based on your hunger. That's what humanity is doing, just like in the animal. That's why the Egyptians used to say, you're going to transform from an intellectual animal into a true human being, which is a God. See, God is your thoughts. Thoughts is intention, and attention is energy. And energy follows the thoughts, whether if it's good or bad. You got to wake up to this. Your mind is your strongest muscle. See, there really isn't no word for spirit. Or not word for spirit. Spirit really don't exist. That's just a word we use to show a higher state of consciousness. But it's just all mind. Everything is mental. So that's why the Breatharian knowledge is telling you, stop trying to fast your way into it. You need to get your mind together. Because if the mind, wherever the mind goes, the body's going to follow. So just by you saying you need vitamins, minerals, this and that, that's a program. You need this, you need that. Really? What do you really know? That's that intellectual animal knowledge. And it did a good job. So you must break all of that again. So that's why when they showed you those thorns around Jesus' head when he was getting crucified, that's you. The thorns is blockages of education, wrong information, don't know who you are, somebody didn't tell you the true history. All this other stuff is all right here. Low self-esteem, guilt, shame, all that's all around the head. You was crucified. So now you got to come off of your crucifixion crucifixion and resurrect from the dead, from death into life. See how I'm interpreting all this with another mind? But it's all true. The thing about this, on how I'm talking, you can actually make it happen. That other stuff, just believe. Believe it on somebody else external from you. They did it and you don't even know them and you never met them. Now, I'm going to read something to you. And this is from, it is knowledge already always been around here. And this is coming from a book called Life Without Food. And I'll have it in the write-up at the end of the video. Life Without Food. And this is coming from an American, Native American, Indian perspective. And this woman said her transition took 10 years. See, people hate to hear that. Years, it's going to take you years to really grow. You'll have good growth all through it. No, this isn't no process 21 days. I don't teach that. So that's why I'm glad when this woman wrote this book. Thank you, sister. Her name is Mira Omerzel. Thank you for telling her like it is. Because we've been given all that spookiness that one day somebody, just an angel came to him and told him to stop eating and all this other stuff. You notice that that's not hardly coming out no more because we're getting more educated. Stop that foolishness. You got work to do. Did I say that? Work to do. I've been talking down to earth since I came. Now ain't no angels come to me. Well, I looked up and there was a burning bush and God talking. I found out I'm God. I got to make this stuff happen because I can. Seek it, you shall find. The mind start opening up. The information start coming. You start using your power. And you don't beat up on yourself. Yeah, I ate this and ate that. I didn't sit up there, oh, I'm not a Breatharian. Yes, I am. Oh, good job. You did 5 days and then you were here. Oh, you just did 2 months. Good job. I got it now. Now we at the game, it don't even matter. High skill level. Now listen at this. Talking down to earth. But you got to understand what you're capable of. If you don't, like Henry Ford said, a man who says he can and a man who says he can't are both correct. Oh man, listen at this. So now, Life Without Food. And this is on page 147. And this is on the Breatharianism and the acceptance of spiritual guidance. Now, there's a Slovenia, a Slovenia myth and folklore. Slovenia is in modern day Yugoslavia. So they even had a folklore myth, and I'm going to read it to you to show you that this knowledge was all around the planet. A lot of this stuff is surfacing now on the day of age we at, that the Breatharian knowledge was once on the planet. In Egypt, where you saw a pharaoh sitting there with the serpent at the top of his head, he was living off of cosmic solar energy. That's it. Here in India, they got the other things showing you, the Shivas, the Shaktis, the serpents, they all coming up. These are all similitudes of a story is telling you. This knowledge was all around the planet. And like I said, they're coming from the Native American background. They still had this knowledge there. It was all over the place. But I'm going to show you what happened. The fall, God didn't walk away from the people. The people got rid of God. So these religions you in now, don't putting you down. That's not it. All of those were created after the fall to make you feel comfortable in your misery. But you got to take it to another step. Don't put down. You got to up your game now. Somebody got to tell you this. I went through it. Now listen at this. The creation of fertile land. This is what it's called. Giants called Ajay recounted that the land was barren at first. At first, the land was barren. Nothing but rocks. It bore no fruit. But there was no need for food anyway. There was no need for food anyway. Among the people lived God himself, with spirit and body, and he fed people with manna from heaven. Manna from heaven is a high state of consciousness. When it opens up, your mind feeds the body. You got to know it. That's why a man's higher consciousness, he was saying the same thing, just a different wordings. It's your mind that's animating the body. It don't need nothing external. You're moving around and everything else. It ain't got nothing to do with you eat. Half of you, more than half of you, right now looking at this broadcast, got a bad diet. And you know it. It's terrible. But you still running around, smiling, putting on your favorite shirt. Got men and women chasing you, talking about you look good. It don't matter. You're doing it with your mind. Oh, man. And don't give me that. Do you drink water? You don't even drink water. I seen some men last night. You know, I know them. They don't drink water. They had their Coca-Cola in their hand. Not saying it's good or bad, but you got to wake up to this. And they look good, too. They just moving around with their mind. That's what everybody's doing. But listen how they say God lived amongst the people. God lives amongst the people because there was no need for food anyway because God fed them. They had the consciousness to feed themselves. So is God living with the people now? Absolutely not. Because who's feeding you? You're feeding yourself externally. That's what's happening. So God didn't bless you with that food. You went to go get it or make it happen. So that's why a person is in poverty. The reason why a person is suffering in poverty, because most of their energy of their mind is focused on food and shelter. Food and shelter. That's what most of their energy is going for, and that brings forth suffering. Yep. So that's why, for instance, when the British defeated the Zulu army, the first thing they did, they went to each one of their huts where they was living at, and they made them pay rent. And you might say, man, I can't pay no rent. We don't work with money. Oh, there's the gold mine right there. There's the diamond mine right there. You can go work over there and go get that money. But you're going to pay rent right now. So the average person is suffering in poverty because the energies in their mind is seeking food and shelter. And everybody got put up under that. To keep the energies of your mind seeking something else. And even the African Hebrew Israelites, when I was with them, that's what they was talking about. God was living amongst the people. The people were God. That's why God was there. It's a high vibration. They knew it. But when that knowledge left, so you don't believe this now. That's why it was a hard time for me to say I'm God at first. People was tripping. But I didn't take it back. And I'm being sustained. Because I know who I am. How am I supposed to take back who I am? I can't do it. Or I'll be lying to myself. You God too. I know who I'm dealing with. Whether you know it or not. That's what's going to keep you sustained. It's this energy is God that got everybody alive. You just have to become an awareness of it. Self-realization. That's why the mind has to change and the body will follow. There's no technique like that. What breath technique you use? Stop it. Go get your mind in check. It is more than just a belief system or a philosophy. I'm saying you got to work with it till you know it. Till you have an aha moment. Aha. I can see it. You will. Keep working with it. Now listen at this. So among the people lived God himself with spirit and body. God lived with the people with spirit and he had a body. Remember I said spirit is just a high state of consciousness, it's a mind? That's why I say the Breatharian knowledge is a holistic lifestyle. Mind-body connection. It's actually mind, body, spirit, mind, body, energy. It's all the same thing. They all must become one. That's how God lives amongst the people. Not no external and the people just walking around. That's not how it works. It's a holistic lifestyle. That's why I tell people, ain't no use of fasting and all you're going to do is go back to your own lifestyle. That's all you know. You don't know what a holistic lifestyle is. You got to go understand what it is. Start living it till it comes off of your subconscious body. When I walk the beach and I'm out there breathing the air up under the sun and all that, I'm nourishing off of all of that. I know it. It's a consciousness. Now listen at this. And he fed the people manna from heaven. Yet people, now this is the deep part. This is why people got rid of God. Yet people were unhappy, for they feared God's greatness and splendor. Constantly trembling, they could never enjoy their food and drink, nor make merry. We could take this many ways, but I already lived it, so I know what it's talking about. Because there's many times on my journey, I was wondering why people were changing on me the more I came into this consciousness. Jealousy started popping up. People start trying to bring me down. Oh, it's been since day one. Going the other way. I was like, what's wrong? They were scared of God. Why was they scared? Because when you have a certain vibration off of you, other people can't really do what they want to do. That's how they feel. And so they get mad at you. That's why in Psalms chapter 2, the rulers of the world made war with the Lord and his anointed. So they can't mess with the God of creation because that's untouchable. But we can mess with a people who's his representative. So, on one level, you grab the breatharian knowledge too fast. This goes many ways. And I see people do this. You got the energy, but you feel alone because nobody want to be around you. So you bring down your vibration to be with everybody else. So there was a time, there was a group of people. It was prosperous. It was all this stuff going on. God was there. But all of humanity didn't have the memo. This is a technology that somebody else had. That's what made them great. Now, they were supposed to give it to the other people, but they didn't. It was in bits and pieces and pockets. And they wanted to be like everybody else. It's sort of like the person in school getting good grades. Then one day they start making their grades bad so they can fit in. But the prophet said, if y'all do that, you're going to pay a price. Messing with that vibration. Because it really don't like you. Not so much as that. But this is what happened. So we seen all those thorns got put with the further and further you got away. The further and further you got away. Now read this next part so it can make sense. God took pity on them. He separated his body and moved to heaven. He separated his body and moved to heaven. He just went up in the head. So that's why most people just talks about God as just head knowledge. It ain't in their body because their body's still sick. They still dying. Here it is. However, his body decomposed and turned into fertile soil. That means death came on the scene. When you got the higher vibration, you do not die. Don't try to phantom your head around it. It's the truth. I don't have no high blood pressure, liver ailments, strokes, diabetes, cancer. People of the world got that. Now, I once had that when I didn't have this mind. Hear me now. It's just as simple as that. I had to come back into my body. But now, listen at this. God took pity on them. So he moved, he left them. So there was many situations I was in. Some situations I was treated nice because I was God. Everybody flourished. So I came back to make sure they grow. Come back. And in some places, it was a little fight. They didn't like God. Know how the scriptures say, and the light came, and the darkness comprehended it not. That means a higher frequency came, but the ignorance didn't know who that was. They comprehended it not. Couldn't even catch what you were saying. So you just left them. And when you left them, when God leaves, it all decomposed again. They ain't doing nothing. We're going to hit the grave. Not even alive. This is powerful talk, but you got to follow it now. So listen at this. And the people cultivated their own food and no longer needed the manna from heaven. It was only then that they started to enjoy their life and were happy. We don't need you, God. We get our own food. That's why the scripture said, don't you want to be like God? You don't need to be like that. You could go get your own food. So people started to go get their own food. And they were happy with it at first. Oh, man. What do you think slavery was about? To put you out in the field to go get some money and food. You want to work the food to go get your own food? This is what's about to happen. There was a time you didn't need to do that, when God was on the scene. But now a whole nother system got created because God has left. That's why this is an ungodly system. I'm straight saying it. God ain't in it. Nowhere to be found. Oh, man. Now, I'm going to read the narrative here so you can really see it. This Slovenia tale about the creation of fertile land was preserved the memory of the long-lost abilities of being nourished by cosmic life energy, or manna, which is sustained abundance. Which is sustained abundance. This is the long-lost tale preserved in memory. When we lost that ability to be nourished by the cosmic life force energy, in science we know that exists, but they just called it manna. And it gave you sustained abundance. You are abundant when you're healthy on all levels. Abundance. Don't you want to be that now? Everybody's trying to play the lotto, want to be like whoever that's a billionaire. And they ain't doing nothing. When you look at them talk, they miserable. That's not abundance. Wake up. God is not in that. That's an illusion. Those people still dying, still sick. Think about this. Oh, man, giving up your birthright. What profit a man if he gains the whole world or loses his soul? So abundance from a time before the common era. A time which God still lived among the people in physical form. God lived amongst the people in physical form before the common era. That's why you should know this system is lying right now. Man been here for a very long time. And the only thing somebody did something is in the last 400 years. That's what they claiming. They just did it. And keep in mind, this knowledge was all over the planet, right? Africa, the Americas, Asia, India, all these older cultures. So when the Renaissance took off up in Europe, what was that? That was the ancient knowledge that somebody brought up there. They just didn't get smart and it fell out of the sky. Somebody picked them up. So the Moors did colonize Europe for over 700 years. Of course, that was taken out of history. Bits and pieces is there. Go do your work and look it up. And the kings and queens, the royal families, all have esoteric knowledge. The symbolism in their court, in their castles of the ancient knowledge. Where did that come from? Somebody brought them there. Even if they went and captured it, they couldn't figure that out. Somebody taught them and put them in those places. So this is all one civilization. This is a game we playing. But if you fall for that other story, it's going to be hard to wake up. You got to know this. So now, And this was before God lived amongst the people in physical form, feeding them with heavenly manna or prana. Feeding them. This world will feed you. I travel all around the world, literally, you know this. Everywhere I've been is beautiful. The world is beautiful, and everywhere I've been, my body is beautiful. It blends in everywhere it goes. That's what it does. It works with energy. It's the system of things, the minds of the people, the idea that makes the world messed up. That's what's doing it. You got to see it now. So for you to come up out of it, because you already been infiltrated with that mind, you got that disease, you got to get rid of that virus in the mind of how this world said things supposed to work. Absolutely not. So you could bring God back on the planet through you. If you can't catch it, just leave it alone. It ain't for you. Some people I got to tell that, but just leave the knowledge alone. This isn't no debate. Just leave it alone. It just ain't for you. Right. Because you're bringing up an excuse, just like it, because you want to keep going toiling for your food and stuff. It's cool. Oh, man. So now, this is what the Slovenian tale says. And that is why people did not have to work at first. Oh, my gosh. People didn't have to work at first. Working is unnatural. I told you, when you got to go get your own food to toil the field, it brings up another system where people got to work 8 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, 40 hours or more a week. That is crazy. You done lost your mind. That is crazy. Let me repeat that. Look at my lips. That is crazy. I don't care how much money you're making. Even what's his name? Elon Musk. Oh, he's doing this and doing that, but he's be all tired when he's doing his interview, working all those hours. That is crazy. Ain't no way in the world. But that's what happens when God ain't on the scene. And we got the nerve to think that's normal. At one place all day long. The ability of a distant Breatharian lifestyle without usual food probably existed in a remote past. But when people began to eat meat and plants, they lost their paradise. You don't even see the world being beautiful. You work so much and you're so dense. Don't even see it. In and out. Oh man, lost your paradise. Now we got all these borders everywhere and all. I could go on and on and on. Not talking negativity, but you got to understand we lost a serious paradise. And it's through this knowledge you're going to get your paradise back. Because God got to come on the scene. If God ain't on the scene, you don't have your paradise back. Where's God going to come in through? Right here. That's what got blocked up. So now, they were seemingly happy within the material abundance of a full bowl. But they, however, started to lose their heavenly abilities, those of boundless consciousness and cosmic telepathy. Oh, man. They were seemingly happy within the material abundance of a full bowl. A full bowl. You seem happy. But they, however, started to lose their heavenly abilities. You began to lose your mental abilities. They became dormant. And those boundless consciousness of cosmic telepathy. That's why spirituality is basically about the expansion of consciousness. You should get smarter. You should be able to grab new abilities. If you call yourself being spiritual and don't have no abilities, you could be doing something wrong or don't know what's taking place. Because believe me, everything got dumbed down. They don't care if you say you spiritual and you religious, and nobody cares. They know God in here. But when you start getting nourished off of this, that's an indication you became one with it. You only could do that through a way of thinking. God's on the scene. People going to handle you a lot differently. On many different levels. because you're God on the scene, a growing God, and it is going to keep on going, getting stronger and stronger. Now, and the Lord says that God moved. The presence of a divine disappeared. Infinite possibilities and opportunities disappeared along with it. And people began to earn their daily bread with the sweat of their brows from what was left. That sound familiar? And that's in Genesis. Since you fail, you're going to work from the sweat of your brow then to the grave. You're going to work all your life until you so-called retire or whatever, and then you're going to be buried outside the city or cremated. And it's going to be short too, compared to what you could have been doing. Now, from the soil made of God's body, and from that which had been created, the source of life had created all matter. They forgot about the source and themselves. They forgot about their primordial state and awareness. We forgot. You're trying to wake up your memory. That's all I'm trying to do, is wake you up on your memory. I can't make you into this and that, Breatharian. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to wake up your memory. You do your own study with yourself. How did that make you feel? How do you work with this? Keep working with yourself. Try to see. Try to open up. Try to be a lot more nicer to yourself, to others. Slowly open up that mind, and no matter what the situation, start thinking positive. Nobody gets away. Nobody. And this is all one big consciousness. There's only one consciousness, that's all that exists. So even when we do say the lower consciousness, that is still the consciousness of God. It's just at its lower frequency, lower vibration. That's why you can't even judge it. But you can raise the vibration through energy, the knowledge of energy, frequency and vibration that come up out of this. And the more it raises, you'll know it, because your health will get better. If your feet is on the ground, God consciousness could cure anything. This is powerful, but you got to put it to the test. It's a mind. Everything is mental. Even the microbes in your gut, they can influence your thoughts, but at the same time, your thoughts can influence the microbes. See, all this knowledge is out there now. You got to put it to the test. And don't wait till the day to make you happy. You make the day happy. So this is the story of Enoch. Let's go back there. So Enoch, the seventh son of Adam. So he had the Adamic knowledge. And Adam wasn't the first man. He was just the man who developed this technology. It came from somewhere. And God put him in the east of the garden. Now this is the west. Well, the west is America, right? We say that's the west. Then you got the Far East. Then you got the so-called Middle East. Well, where's the east? Egypt, Africa, Kemet. Now you can see why. Because keep in mind that the melanin can bring in more life force energy than everybody else. We gotta say it. That's a scientific fact. You lost the mind. So I wonder, when you walked away, you got put at the lowest of the totem pole in this world. So you, more than anybody else, better open up those 7 chakras and keep them open and know who you are. You don't even need to argue. True power don't need to say it's powerful. It is what it is. Did I say that? Oh man, we got to go back to where it all began. The Genesis. Where it all began. And they the ones had that. They gave it up because they wanted to run around and be like everybody else, fit in. Then when the tables turn, this is what happened. We got to put it out there. So Enoch walked with God, they say, for 365 years, but that's esoteric knowledge. How many days of the year? 365 days? A whole year he was living that lifestyle, taking it seriously. So when I say meditate, meditate every day. That's your food. Exercise. There's some places I gotta be a cheerleader to tell you exercise is valuable. That ain't got nothing to do with spirituality, but look at so-and-so. Don't compare me with so-and-so. You can't touch this. Come on now. We just said stretch a little bit. Stretch. Somebody got to convince you of that. But I could go on and on. This is what we're talking about. So Enoch, let's don't make it spooky. I know y'all think I was going to say something spooky. His name just means discipline, obedience. He stayed consistent, and he woke up, knew who he was. And what it means by God took him up into heaven, he had God consciousness. So he's also quoted as, rated as being one of the two witnesses. It was him and also Elijah in the scriptures. They were the only two that got taken up by God because they took it seriously. So they're the two witnesses. That's a Revelation. And going back to Revelation, the 3rd chapter, the 7 churches, and then somebody woke up. Most people think it's the return of Jesus. It ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. That's the return of Adam. See, Adam is more than just the person there. There's an Adamic lineage. That's why Enoch came out of the lineage. I got a friend of mine, always talk about the Tibetan lineage. And this is what he says. This is where it gets deep. He says there's certain levels of practice that somebody from the lineage have to grant you that power. I said, you're exactly right. So somebody from the Adamic lineage have to grant you that power. Let's change it. But that was the lineage that was cut off, that lost his memory. Oh, man. But you got to work with this now. Work with this thought till you know it. Now, if you don't know it, it's okay too. Like we said in there, God had mercy on him and pity on him, so he left just to let you live your existence. But when you do see it, perfect practice makes perfect. You stay with it till you resurrect fully. Now, this is Elitom Elamin. I hope you got something out of this. But going back to those 7 churches, wait a minute. And he said, I once was dead, and now I'm alive forevermore. See, a person could be walking around dead and don't know it. But of course, God consciousness is gone. So death is inevitable. But when you gain God consciousness, in the 7 churches, he opened them up. He said, now I'm alive forevermore. He achieved physical immortality. And the way to do that, it wasn't with a full bowl. That's why I read that prophecy to you. People were living off the manna from heaven. They wasn't eating regular food like that. God will sustain all your needs. So when you praying over a table talking about God blessed you with that food, God didn't do that. You did that. Oh man, did I say that? Peace and blessings. La la la. La la la. La la. La la la. La la. La la la. La 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 la. La 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 la.